Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. This is a request that came from MikkDC, and this is quite a hefty one that we are going to be doing. In a way, it's actually a bit of a follow-up to the previous video, because in that one we were on West Coast Main Line south. And we did, London Euston to Birmingham New Street, yet again. Now after that is the section that I don't have, which would take us from Birmingham to Preston. And then this, this request here basically has us doing the rest of that West Coast Main Line run. So we are going from Preston to Glasgow Central. So this is quite a distance. We're going to be doing something in the region of 200 miles, I think, for this one. And there's also not a great deal of stops along the way. The ones he asked for are Lancaster, Carlisle's an obvious one, Motherwell and Glasgow Central, and that's it. Now, if we get the chance to stop there, I will add Carstairs to that list. That is a station that I think even the express services, which, well, this one's not quite an express service, but it's certainly a fast service, they would stop there. But, I mean, the game may put us on an avoiding line there. I know there's one or two stations where it constantly does that. So, yeah, if it doesn't put us on the avoiding line for Carstairs, then we will stop there. I'm pretty sure it's not going to put us on avoiding lines for any of the stations that have been asked for. I mean, there's only 3 that are actually on, along the route, so yeah, it is unlikely. Now, as far as the train, he wanted a Class 43 high-speed train. He didn't care about the livery, except he wanted it to be an intercity livery. So what I've done is I've brought out what I call my high-speed train. So this is the livery that was used in or on the Class 43 for the journey that I actually took on one. And I used in my video recreating, well, as much of it as I could, which was just King's Cross to Peterborough. Plus, I know for certain that this Class 43 is going to be a Valenta engine one, and so, yeah, I thought that we'll play it safe and make sure of it. I need to find a way of being able to tell which of the Armstrong Powerhouse HSTs is a Valenta one and which one is a VP 185. I dare say when I get the third one, I forget the name now, MTU or something I think it is, yeah, I'm going to need to really be able to figure out which one is which then. Now, I will admit, I'm not feeling my best. I'm not feeling as lethargic as I was yesterday. Did kind of spoil that video, but let's hope we do all right. So obviously this is going to be done across 2 route DLCs. We're starting on West Coast Main Line over Shap, and we will be finishing on the West Coast Main Line North route. So we can go as far as Carlisle on this one, and the usual wonderful editing that I always come up with. We will then resume from Carlisle to Glasgow. So anyway, that is not the setup. We haven't gone through the specifics. He specified all of these. So spring, it's clear, it's 1 PM. Yep. Well, there you go. So now that is the setup. Let's get this up and running. And here we are. Let's sort out, Motor factor was set to 1. I don't think so. Okay, let's set motor factor right the way up to 6 rather. There we go. Right, so here we are in the cab of our Intercity 125. She is in all her glory. At Preston, platform 2. Right, let's get her set up. So, master key set. Let's get the lights sorted out. Yes, we want the marker lights on, we want the tail lights off. That's cab light. Oh no, these are the main lights here. Yeah, of course. Right. I think that is the lights set. Yes, it most certainly is. Okay, let's let everyone on board. Okay, doors are open, it just didn't look it. Yeah, right up here. None of the other ones actually opened. Here we have our rear car. Go back up to the front. There's probably going to be quite a few AI trains around here. There usually are around Preston. So 90.13 miles to Carlisle, and we have one stop along the way, which is Lancaster. Lancaster is an outside closer to us here than it is to Carlisle, so it's nowhere near halfway. Looks like the doors are all shut. Just double check that everything is set. Oh yeah, something I've forgotten. Train supply is not on. It is now. You can hear the increase in the revs from the engine, as it is now supplying power to the generators to yeah, make sure that, well, at the very least all the lighting is working in the cabs. So brakes are running down. There we go. Right, let's give it some decent, we'll try and give it some decent clag as we leave. Yeah, after the 37 and the 50, yeah, the HST emissions are not quite as impressive. Anyway, we have 35 mph limit as we leave Preston, which is pretty fast actually for a major station, but it's not a terminus, and I'm pretty sure that plays at least some part in that. So we have what looks like, no, it's a 47. I thought it was a Romanian 56. We have some carriages left alone, wagons that have also been left to a side. See that quite a lot around here as well. Whoops, we have a 25 mph limit fast approaching because we're going to be going over points. Yeah, so I was speeding over them, so I've got onto a flying start. I did put the brakes on a bit too hard there as well. So we're in a 25 zone, but we are very soon going to be in an 80 zone. There we are. We can really put it up to notch 5 now. can't increase the turbo audio. Although, let's face it, it's not exactly difficult to hear it. So soon entering a 110 zone, we are barely doing half that. Acceleration is, yeah, not fantastic. Although yeah, there's me saying that acceleration not fantastic. That's actually not true. It's just that I'm used to some ridiculously fast modern locos where the acceleration rate is bordering on the obscene. But this one, even though it has a updated livery, you can see here from the cab, this is not a refurbished model. So this is still using the original sort of 1976 hardware here. And when you take that into account, its acceleration is actually, yeah, pretty impressive. Let alone the fact that this thing is capable of doing 125 mph. In fact, it is capable of doing more than that. I think the fastest speed that was recorded from an HST was somewhere in the region of 148. So yeah, an extra 23 mph on top of its max operational speed is not bad. So yeah, we are still accelerating, and okay, our acceleration rate has slowed down slightly, but I do mean slightly. It's really not that much slower than the acceleration rate was, going from, like, you know, 40 up to, you know, 80 or 90. So the power that this thing is developing, it's there at a very constant rate. It's also generating just 745 amps. Now, if this was the 805 from the previous video, the amount of amps needed, you could almost add another 1,000 to that. It was using, you know, it's using ridiculous amounts of electricity to shift the thing. Bearing in mind that on any electrified route there is a finite amount of electricity available, and I don't think the 805s had regenerative brakes, so that thing is going to be a massive power draw or power drain, and it's not putting any back into it. Not great. So we're up to 106. Yeah, I take back what I said about the slow acceleration. We are flying. You know, pretend we didn't see that car there as we pass at 87. Now, speaking of 87s, Jim did do his Class 87 run, and it was pretty clear to me from that run that he had started getting the grips with how to drive the 87. He was again insisting that he didn't like it. He doesn't like the tap changer, so I think you got a bit of a wait before you see him doing any runs in an 86, an 85 or a 73. But the bottom line is that considering he'd only ever driven the 87 about 3, maybe 4 times at the absolute most, he drove it really well. There's no other way of putting it. Up to 113, we get a side view straight away, track side view. Look at that, beautiful. And then you see that I put all the wrong carriages on. Because yeah, I had to put this consist together myself. Looks like that was an 86 that we just passed. Don't think we're going to get another side track side view just yet. We'll have one more stab. No. So up to 116. Unfortunately, yeah, because of the carriages that I've used, this is it as far as passenger view. Yeah, we haven't got any views of the interiors. Passenger cabins. So now up to 117. This is the area where the VP185 engine is actually better than the Valenta. It's able to do the acceleration from 100 up to 125 faster than the Valenta could. It is at a cost. The 0 to 100 acceleration of the Valenta is far better. I did get quite an interesting comment actually on the video where I was driving the VP185 Class 43, the Midland Pullman from Northlander. Was saying that he thought that Class 40, or he always thought that the Class 43 and the Intercity 125 were one and the same. Well, in the beginning, yeah, they were. And I mean, yeah, all Intercity 125s are, were, Class 43s. But not all Class 43s were Intercity 125s. Case in point, in that particular video, that was a Midland Pullman, it wasn't an Intercity 125. So most of the changes came about, you know, post-privatisation. Because really after that, although the term Intercity was still used occasionally, the actual intercity service itself didn't exist anymore. At the time that this livery was being used, the Intercity Swallow livery, we had the BR sectorisation, and Intercity was a completely separate, sector along with Network South East, Rail Freight, and Regional Railways. That was the 4 sectors that it was split up into. So yeah, once privatisation came along, intercity pretty much ceased to exist. But some of the franchises that were doing long distance runs, you know, like this one we're doing here, so they kept the intercity name sort of, but it wasn't actually, you know, like an official service. So at that point, yeah, the Class 43, they were high-speed trains, but they were not intercity 125s anymore. Being a bit pedantic, I guess, but I mean, yeah, when it comes to railways and locomotives, yeah, it always is a case of being pedantic. So we need to slow down for this 75 section coming up here. This could be the approach to Lancaster. I'm not sure. Now we are going to be going downhill, which is going to make it a bit awkward. And after this 75, we then got a 40, and yeah, it is the approach to Lancaster. So they're not really well spaced out, these stops that we've been asked to do. It's the first station after we leave, and then yeah, with Motherwell it's the last station before we reach Glasgow. So yeah, oh well, like I say, if we can stop at Carstairs we will do that. The reason for stopping there is that if you wanted the service that took the West Coast Main Line but then would go on and stop at Edinburgh, Carstairs is the station where you would stop to get the Edinburgh service. So it's a bit like Rugby in the southern part. It's a compulsory stop, or it should be a compulsory stop, but it's quite a minor sort of town. You sort of think, why would all trains have to stop here of all places? So yeah, well, actually according to the route display I didn't mess up the braking, but yeah, I did. Came in a bit fast. I'm pretty sure we will be able to fit the entire train on the Lancaster platform. I came in too fast, now I'm going way too slow. Yeah, it's not a dignified arrival. Right, what we got here? It looks like either a 45 or a 46. I've never seen one of those on this run. Still not yet done a run in the 46 yet, so I don't know how that drives. The 45 drove fantastically. I think it's a pig ugly thing. I'm not a fan of the 45, but yeah, it does drive really well. Right, I'm sure I did do the, yeah, I have done the doors. But none of the doors have opened. No, not one door. Oh, we'll give it a few just in case they have opened and I just can't see them. I know it's unlikely, but you never know. Oh yeah, one thing I did forget to do. Yeah, this is a Lancaster station. Looks like it's right on the outskirts of the actual town of Lancaster. Right, anyway, yeah, let's get up and running. None of the doors open, so we're not going to get any signal from the guard, so I'll just do my own. Right. No, away we go. Sounds like we're wheel slipping a bit there. Hey, let's give it some full thrash. Yeah. So I can never remember the name of the river here that we are going over. Oh, I'm sure someone can tell us. Well, we're now in a 110 zone, so that speeding, yeah, certainly does not apply anymore. So, get ourselves back up to speed, especially with the 125 zone fast coming up. Now, just going back to the old Intercity 125s being class 43s, another thing that really sort of just adds to the potential confusion is that there were two completely different locos that were given the TOPS designation of class 43. So obviously this is one. The other was a sort of modified and refurbished version of the class 42 warship, which appeared in a recent video that I did. But yeah, that was also the class 43. Now, it would take an exceptional amount of well, stupidity to get those two trains mixed up, but nevertheless someone could be referring to, yeah, the refurbished warship when they're saying class 43, and they'd be spot on. It is the right name, and most people hearing it would be thinking that he's talking about the HST. There goes what I'm pretty sure was another 86. Someone else running the level crossing. Thankfully there aren't anywhere near as many level crossings on the West Coast main line as there are on the East Coast one. In the East Coast main line, it always feels like you've barely done 200 yards and you've got another level crossing coming up. Especially in the section from Peterborough through to Newcastle. fact, actually, the section from Peterborough to York has hundreds, or it feels like hundreds, and the section from York to from Newcastle to Edinburgh has a huge amount as well. The York to Newcastle one, to be honest, I don't remember it because it's not a run that I do all that often. It is by far the slowest of the 4 sections that make up the East Coast Main Line. And in this game it's not electrified, which I think is ridiculous. I keep looking on the, you know, the Steam workshops in the hope that there is someone who will have done a you know, freeware version of that run that has been electrified, but no, it's not there. Keep finding electrified versions of the Riviera line, because yeah, that's something that's really going to happen, isn't it? Yeah, let's electrify the Dawlish station and that. Can't see anything wrong with that one. But no, they don't do electrified versions of the York to Newcastle. Anyway, this is Carnforth station we are racing through. We were in a 110 zone, but we never even made it up to 110, so we're now back in the 125 zone. No problems. There goes, that was definitely an 87, that one. Oh no, right, we're now on a 1 in 134 uphill climb, and yeah, this is actually affecting our acceleration. We are losing speed here. And it's the usual thing, high speed trains are not geared for dealing with hefty uphill climbs. Now bear that in mind when it comes to doing well, actually this part we've got to get over the likes of Shap. I think B2 is here as well, or is that on the West Coast Main Line North route? But wherever it is, yeah, we've got to get over that. So yeah, we got some hefty gradients to get over. Still got a bit of distance before we get to the Lake District. Pretty sure we're still in Lancaster at the moment. Looks like some lines have been pulled up there, or although that was a properly steep gradient that whatever train was taking it would have been expected to do. So we're approaching 115 limit. Well, we are currently doing 114, so we're all right for now. We do have a 105 limit coming up. We may need to brake a bit for that. In fact, if we coast for a bit, just take it down to notch 1. Because of this gradient we're on, 1 in 173, it's not immense, but it's enough to slow this thing down. Yeah, we won't need the brake for the 105 zone. We'll be at least at that speed. Hey, we're at that speed now. Alright, so we're now in the 110 zone. Try and grab that extra 10 mph or 11 mph. That train that passed us didn't look like it was an electric train, so it's probably a 47. I've got to be less dismissive of the 47. I know they were absolutely everywhere, and it got to a stage where, you know, seeing a 47 was nothing because they were so commonplace. But there was a bloody good reason for that. They were fantastic at just about every single role you allotted them to. So we have a 90 zone coming up. We're on a 1 in 111. This is quite steep for us, as we are approaching Oxenholme station. So we're just outside Kendal, so we are now in Cumbria. Yeah, there is a station there. So Oxenholme seems to be a place that people outside of the actual area have never heard of. So yeah, just think of it as South Kendal. Everyone's heard of Kendal, even if it's just from eating the mint cake. Which is good stuff actually. I do really like it. I mean, if you eat, you know, a couple of squares of it, you put on about 3 stone in weight, but still. It was meant for mountaineers and things like that. So we're into the 90 zone. Still losing speed, even in notch 3. So here is Oxenholme station. That was a short branch, or a short stop there, just to our left as we came into the station. That's the branch that would take you to Morecambe. In fact, I've used that branch on a couple of occasions when I've done videos going to Morecambe. That was another 47. Right, we're going to need to put it into notch 5 if we're going to accelerate here. 1 in 100. We're in a 95 zone. I think we are still going to lose speed even at notch 5 because this is a really steep gradient for a train like this. Yeah, we are still losing speed. Now it's leveled out slightly, it's now 1 in 200. That's enough for us to start gaining speed again. So even though we are only in a 95 section, there's still 15 mph that we can gain. So we certainly want to do that. So I'll tell you the next request, which is already in, and I've got that already lined up. That one will not be in a high-speed train. It's still in an emu that is capable of going at a pretty decent rate. And it's on a route that has appeared a few times before, but it's actually been a little while since we did a full run of it, and this request is asking us to do a full run of it, so yeah, it should be a pretty good run. And it's a loco that I really do like driving as well, so has all the hallmarks to be quite a good one, that. But that's the next video. We've still got this one to do. So acceleration seems to have stalled a bit. It's now 1 in 127. I think this might be the Shap that we are climbing up here. And we are still accelerating at a staggeringly slow rate, but nevertheless speed is going up. So it's now 1 in 130. So it's now 1 in 106 and the speed is coming down again. So I think this must be the this must be Shap that we are climbing up now. So 90 mph section coming up, doesn't affect us. We can't even get to 90 at the moment. It looks like we are approaching the summit. It's saying Grey Rig, so we passed another 47. So this is not Shap that we are climbing. So we have another pretty, well, we have an even steeper and an even higher climb still to go. Still losing speed, but yeah, we are now levelling out. So speed is now going up, but I can't let it go up too high because yeah, we are going to be in a 90 zone. May even need to control our speed a bit once we are going down the other side. That looked like either an 86 or 87. It was certainly electrified. Right, we've got to yeah, start bringing our speed down. So we are still losing speed as we coast along, so let's put it into knots 2, do have a speed increase coming up to 100 in, you guessed it, a mile and a half. Let's take it up a full. We've got, like, you know, 9 mph we could gain, and it's soon going to be 19 mph we can gain, so entering the 100 zone now, and now we're in it. So we still have another 10 mph which we can go. It's going up again to 105. We need to lose a bit of speed before entering the 105 zone. It's not much of an increase, but it's still an increase. So there we go, in the 105. And it's going to be going up again, that 110 zone. We are starting another uphill climb. Now this must be Shap. Yeah, Birkbeck Viaduct, I'm sure that is on Shap. It's Birkbeck at College. I can't remember if it was Oxford or Cambridge, but it's one of them. I only know that from watching University Challenge. I do like the quiz shows, and but I like them to, you know, present some kind of challenge, and where they don't have contestants who are so fucking stupid. It's a miracle they know how to tie their own shoelaces. I mean, I will always remember I was watching an episode of Tenable. It's not a good, you can't really call it a quiz show, it's more of a game show, but the category was the 10 English counties that come between Lancashire and Shropshire alphabetically. Pretty standard stuff really. But yeah, between Lancashire and Shropshire alphabetically. Contestant's first guess, West Yorkshire. I wish I could say I'm making that up for comic effect, but no, that was his first guess. I turned it over after that, I couldn't watch any more of it. Anyway, we are now on a 1 in 75 uphill climb. This is, yeah, we've got no chance of accelerating here. Look how fast our speed is going down. And we're using notch 5. So this 80 mph limit that's coming up here, yeah, that's no problem. We'll be below that by the time we get there. Cup's empty, I'm out of tea. Thankfully, I still have a drop of the old Tango. Shap Summit is actually not that far away. So we have a 105 speed limit after we reach the summit. Now we may need to coast a bit as we are going down the, yeah, making the descent. So here we are at the Shap Summit yard. There used to be a station here, but that's long gone. Another 43. He's speeding. There we go. I've already picked up quite a few speeding errors, but oh well. It's not like that's anything new. So here we are now on the descent. So yeah, we are accelerating despite only being in notch 1. 1 in 125 downhill. We are still accelerating if we just coast. We go past what looks very much like a power station, or at least a substation. There was a class 47 waiting there to go in, almost certainly with coal. Alright, so we're on a section where the ground has levelled out a bit. Let's pick up a bit of speed, put us into notch 5. So top speed is going down, or max speed, yeah, going down at 95. Going down again, down to 80. I don't know why. I don't think there's any stations nearby. So yeah, in the 95 zone. We really got to start braking now. I want to get us down to 80 mph. In fact, we want to continue braking beyond 80 so that then we can safely gain speed. So I'll take us down to 70. probably take us beyond 70 as well. I don't think any of those curves are really sharp enough for it to require such a low speed. Mind you, 80 mph, it's not that low a speed, it's just that it is when you're in an HST. So we've got curves while also going downhill. Yeah, okay, the more I think about it, yeah, the speed limit does make sense. As it is, we will be able to go back up to 105 in less than a mile. Right, we're in the 105 zone now. Let's start picking up a bit more speed. Yeah, this downhill section is certainly helping with the acceleration. Even though our acceleration wouldn't be that bad, it's, yeah, a hell of a lot faster than normal. So we'll take it up to 100 and then we'll start coasting again. Quite a hefty viaduct there. guessing that was, yeah, the Lothar or Lauder viaduct. Oh Christ, I wasn't paying attention. We've got a 95 zone coming up. Oh, we made it. We've now got 75 coming up as well. This is why the approach to Penrith station. So yeah, we're in the 75 zone. Well, here is Penrith Station. We got to give it a bit of the old, yeah, full thrash treatment as we go through. So, well, it wasn't exactly a huge amount in terms of passengers at the station there. There goes an 86. So we are fast approaching a 120 zone, and that's more like it. Okay, here we go. And we even have the full 125 speed limit coming up in about a mile and a quarter. Well, the 125 zone doesn't last particularly long. We're back down to 110. I mean, we're still quite a bit off that speed yet, so we don't need to take any sort of action there. fact, that 110 zone is quite short, and then we're back in another 125. So here we are in the 110 zone. Genuinely cannot see anything even remotely suggesting why this 110 speed limit is required. It was completely gun barrel straight. It was also flat. The gradient kept showing 0 to 0 the whole time. I have no idea why that speed limit was there. Anyway, we've gone through it, we're back in the 125 now. So our next stop, which obviously is Carlisle station, is now just about 10 miles away. So yeah, we've got through this stretch of the run in double quick time, past another HST. According to ETA, will be there in less than 10 minutes. So we have a 100 max speed coming up. Pretty sure we will have to brake for that. There's no way we're going to lose that speed while coasting. Past another 87. Right, we've got to brake really hard here. I'm not coming down anywhere near fast enough. There we go. So we've gone way down, but we do have a 95 section coming up. Well, no, then we're going back up again. Well, back. So into the 95. Not quite timed it. Did need to throttle down a bit in order to stop ourselves speeding before the 110 zone, which we are now in. Another 87, so 75 mph section coming up, currently on a 1 in 130. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we could okay, no, we are losing speed. I thought we might have actually gained speed. Right, we've really got to start braking hard here. We have a 20 mph zone coming up, which is the entrance to Carlisle station, which we can now see on the display. Go over there, class 58. Yeah, I've seen one of them in actually I have seen them in runs, but I think that's the first time I've seen one that's actually mobile. I'm not really worried about this 75 zone, especially as we are well below it. It's the 20 zone that's coming up. So we're fine for that one now. Quite a chaotic mass of lines and points as we enter Carlisle. So we have no AWS while we are here. I'm not all that sorry about it. We are gaining speed though. I don't know why. So is it going to be 15 as we enter the platform? Actually, it's not a terminus, so it may even stay at 20. Looks like it is. Now I have a feeling we will be moved from this platform prior to setting off for Glasgow. So we'll let passengers off here. Don't need to worry about those signals, they work for this line. So yeah, we'll let passengers off here. We won't take passengers on until we are on the next platform. So yeah, I think we can stop here. There we go. So that is, yeah, here we are at Carlisle. Right, so we have been moved to platform 10. Doors are all open. So we have another 102 miles to our final destination. So in fact, yeah, the distance is not as far as I thought it was going to be. It's 192, or just over 192 miles. I thought it was going to be in the 200s. So right, looks like everyone is on. So we are all set. Release the brakes and get ourselves underway. So 20 mph limit as we leave Carlisle station. But well, you know what we're going to do. That looks more like it. Full clag, full thrash, full everything as we leave Carlisle. So having a coast for a bit till we reach the 60 mph section. So yeah, you can see entering the 60 zone now. Accelerating evening notch 1, mind you, that's because we're on a 1 in 100 downhill section here. Still, we're now in the 60 zone, let's get our speed up. Now, for reasons I can't really understand, the engine is still acting as though we are... There we go. So it wasn't taking the throttle input there. We're alright now. Might have had something to do with the significant amount of stress I put it under as we left Carlisle at full throttle. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but there you go. So our next stop, well, that was requested, is Motherwell. Now we got a long old way to go before we reach Motherwell. So, like I said in the intro, if we can stop at Carstairs, we will do so. But yeah, that's if it lets us. And we don't have very far to go before we are actually in Scotland. No idea about that, what that river is. It's like a fairly major train depot there. And not one single train there by the looks of it. Nope. So we have a 100 mph zone fast approaching. I don't think it's going to be that long before we are in a 125 zone. We are going downhill, but it's such a gradual gradient that it really doesn't make any difference. So 125 zone in half a mile. We're probably going to have to throttle down for a bit. There's no probably about it, we will have to throttle down. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get up to 125. We haven't been able to do it so far on this run. I think this is probably our best chance of being able to do so. Gretna junction there. That's also the junction if we were going to go on to Dumfries and then the port roads, which will eventually take you out to Stranraer. Well, so much for this being our best chance of getting up to 125. Well, yes, certainly not. Gretna Junction. So I don't think we are in Scotland just yet. We're not that far from it. Can't be that far from it. Alright, let's bring our speed down because we have this 95 zone coming up. Fine now. So into the 120 zone. Motherwell control begins. Would certainly suggest that we've crossed the border at least there, if we haven't already. I don't know if there's anything that sort of marks the moment where we cross the border like there is on the East Coast main line. Well, I'm pretty sure we have done it now anyway. So we are now in Scotland. We're on a 1 in 200 climb. It's not hugely steep, but it is enough for it to affect our acceleration. Okay, so it has now leveled out and the acceleration has picked up accordingly. Quite a sharp curve there for the speed we're doing. We could have taken that at 120. So we are entering another 125 zone in in just under a mile. Just in case there were any doubts that we were in Scotland now, you then, approach an area called Ecclefechan. Yeah, we're definitely in Scotland. So this 1 in 200 is really keeping our acceleration at bay. We've been at 105 for a while. We haven't been able to gain any speed despite going at full throttle. So we're entering a 115 zone, but we haven't got to do anything. We're not gaining speed. We do have another 125 zone coming up. We're still not gaining speed though. So there you go, for the entire duration of that 115 zone we didn't gain a single mph. Okay, yeah, we did right at the very tail end, so we made it to 106. But now the ground has levelled out. In fact, it's going to be going slightly downhill, so this should certainly help. It's a 1 in 200 downhill now. And we have what could be now this could be Carstairs station coming up, and those the flashing signals are where it's going to be diverting us onto the avoiding line. That is rather annoying. Anyway, we've got to bring ourselves down. Okay, it's Lockerbie station we're going through. Okay, well that's not so bad. I mean, if we're avoiding Lockerbie, yeah, that's alright. So we may still be able to actually stop at Carstairs station. I think I used off the brakes a little early. So yeah, these are the points that yeah, have the 40 mph limit, and I took these points at about 80 mph when I came here in a class 89. Not the greatest bit of train driving you're ever going to see. So in fact, yeah, Lockerbie is showing us the other platform there, so we're not on the avoiding line. It's as if it's taken us off the avoiding line so that we can stop here. Except now it's putting us back on there again, so I've no idea what was going on there, why it's chosen to do that, but still. So yeah, here is Lockerbie station. Because we're in a 40 zone, I'm having to sort of coast through it rather than do what I would much rather do, which is give it some of the full thrash and full clag treatment. But no, we can't do that. Alright, we're now back in a 125 zone again, so here we go. So we are going uphill, but it's quite a gentle uphill gradient, 1 in 463, and it's now just eased off even more, 1 in 522. But our acceleration has not been brilliant. Now I know it's not the weight of the consist, because this is the exact same consist that I used, say, on my London to Peterborough run, and we were able to do 125 on that. So I know we can do it in this train. Now the ground has levelled out. We'll start going uphill again fairly soon. We're up to 110. Starting to go uphill, 1 in 200. See if we can get any trackside views. There you go, straight away. But we are losing speed. We're down to 111. We were at 112. This is kind of showing the age of the train that we are in. See, if we were in certainly a 370, 390, heading the 800 series, we'd be at, you know, 125, no problem. But yeah, in this one we are really struggling. We've lost a bit of speed again. We're down to 110. It's not like we're crawling along, but it would be nice to get this up to 125. So we're actually climbing up B-Tux. No wonder we are. Oh, it's getting quite a bit steeper in about a mile and a half. We're now down to 109. So on most other trains, a 1 in 200 gradient would be no problem. But in this, where, yeah, it's geared so much towards top speed, even at a gradient like this gives it, yeah, problems. So it's levelled out again. You go past the BTEC freight depot, such as it is. But now, right, 1 in 80. So we are certainly going to lose speed climbing up this thing. It was quite a bump as we went on to this uphill climb, because it seemed to come from nowhere. It was flat and then suddenly, boom, there we are, 1 in 80. Yeah, look at the rate that our speed is going down by. We're already down to 104. So there's our 115 max speed coming up. We're going to be well below 100 by the time we get to that. So yeah, here we are in the 99s, so no longer in three figures. There's not really much we can do about it. So into the 115 zone, we're doing 94. And the speed comes down again to 100. Yeah, we're already well below that. Further speed reduction in a mile and a half down to 95, but yeah, we are now below 90. So we were doing about 110 as we reached this uphill climb. We stayed at notch 5 all the way. It's now 1 in 75, so it has got even steeper. We've gone from doing 110 to now doing 87. So in the 95 zone we're doing 83. So this is proving to be even more difficult than the Shap climb earlier on through Cumbria. No sign of this climb ending. Well, the summit is not too far away now. We're about to enter a 90 zone. We're doing 75. So we've lost 35 mph coming up here. We did not apply the brakes or even come off full throttle at any point during that run, but here we are, we're now leveled out. We are indeed starting to pick up some speed. So we have a 110 zone fast approaching, which would be very welcome. Speed is really picking up now. We're 1 in 100 downhill. We're in the 110 zone. We will almost certainly have to try and control our acceleration while we are coming down this side. To ease off here, and we are on level ground at the moment, but not for very long. We are actually going uphill at the moment, but yeah, that's about to end. So we're now 1 in 151 downhill. Going around quite a sharp curve here. Doesn't look like we are gaining speed. In fact, no, we are losing it, but we're losing it at a very, very slow rate. So I'm alright with that, especially as we have a 105 max speed limit reduction coming up. We're not far off that, so yeah, that's okay. So in the 105 zone, put a bit of speed back on because yeah, we're now going below 3 figures. Don't really want to be doing that. We've got a 90 mph zone coming up though. I'm wondering if this is because we have a station cropping up. and if we do, it must be Carstairs station. No, it doesn't look like there is one, so I have no idea why that 90 limit is there. We're in the 90 zone now. 105 zone is coming up. We pass another passing loop. Would have been good to see some trains in the passing loops waiting for us to pass them, but oh well. This is quick drive, it's not a scenario, so it is to be expected. As I get more of the Armstrong Powerhouse, DLC, I will be looking at, actually doing some of the scenarios, as I'm getting to the point where there are actually some I can do because I have enough of the requirements. But I do have two of the Armstrong Powerhouse locos where I can do the scenarios for them. I have got all the requirements there, but they couldn't be much more different to this one if we tried, because one is the class 313 and the other is the 314. Might even have them for the 315 as well. So we're in the 105 zone, we are just entering at a 120 zone. And we are now in there. We are going downhill, 1 in 300. Oh, some hefty old bloody wobble there. Just imagine what that would have been like if we were in the APT. Yeah, we have a 125 zone coming up. Can we actually get this thing up to 125 mph? We are running out of time and distance to do it. I think we've passed Carstairs station. So I can't believe it's this far into Scotland. And so yeah, we have got Motherwell station, but Motherwell is only about 10 or so, maybe 12 miles from Glasgow Central. So I've got about 27 miles, and that's assuming that we have left Carstairs station behind, in which to try and get to the 125 mph speed. Oh, that was a hefty old bump there. And now we've got a 1 in 200 climb again, so that's not going to help us one bit. Yep, we are now losing speed. So I'm starting to think that we are not going to make 125 mph anywhere on this run. I mean, it doesn't ruin it, it's a great run this. Especially with the two combined going from Preston right the way through to Glasgow. Fantastic run. It's a shame that we can't reach 125, but it does not by any means detract from how good a run it is. So, the ground has not quite levelled out, but I think, yeah, it's still okay. Now it has levelled out, and then we should now be gaining speed. We've got a bit of a downhill section coming up as well. This is probably our best chance yet to get to 125. So we are 1 in 100 downhill. This will certainly help with the acceleration. It's either a small mine or a aggregates plant. Might be a cement factory. So up to 120. Ground is now levelled out again. We are at 122. It's going slightly uphill soon. We're now going uphill. 1 in 201 is going to be enough to start slowing us down, and we have a 110 speed limit coming up. So yeah, we made it to 122, but I think that is the fastest we're going to do on the whole run. We're not getting up to 125. Right, we need to start coasting. Probably have to start braking. There's no probably about it, we will definitely have to start braking. We'll let it continue because, yeah, we got a 100 mph zone coming up. And we are going to be changing to another line. This is Carstairs that we are approaching. It's a lot closer to Glasgow than I thought it would be. We've got to start braking a lot heavier than this. We're going to make that 40. Now, does this mean we will be able to enter the station, or is it going to put us on the avoiding line? Now, considering that 90, there's the points, and then it's up to 95, I think it's good, yeah, and then there's 100 there. It's putting us on the avoiding line, so we can't stop at Carstairs. Well, it wasn't a stop that was asked for, it was one that I came up with. But it certainly does not look like we are going to be stopping at that station. I can't say I'm thrilled about it. I can't see the point in it either. So Carstairs is a place where passengers would want to change. If they are on this service but they're wanting Edinburgh, this is where you would be getting off. So yeah, into the 40 zone. Again, I put the power on a bit too early. There we go. So there is Carstairs station, and here we are on the avoiding loop. So yeah, here we are then at Carstairs, but not stopping, unfortunately. So we're in a 95 zone. Everything is back to the old smooth running as before. So our next stop is, well, I say next stop, it still is Motherwell, and we didn't stop there. Motherwell is about 15-16 miles away. So we are on a 1 in 200. Quite impressed that we are still accelerating. I don't think we need to do anything. Once we're into that 95 zone, we won't have reached 95 mph at that point. 95 zone now. It's now 1 in 190 and yet we're still accelerating because we are in a lower gear. Now we are going downhill, so much so that I think I overdid it a bit by putting us into throttling completely off. So entering the 100 zone, which we are now in. We are still going down this 1 in 130, so yeah, knots 3 will do. Carlisle station is actually the next one, but these are like, you know, yeah, more of the small, I won't say so much commuter stations, it's more like, yeah, small suburban stations. I'm going to have to throttle off. We are still accelerating, it's now 1 in 100. Let's put it into light braking mode. Here is Carlisle station. It's very small, no way we would have got the entire train on there if we were going to stop, but I highly doubt that yeah, a train like this would have stopped there anyway. Not paying attention, this 90 mph zone is coming up on us pretty quickly. This must be close to some major station. It seems a bit far out for it to be Motherwell, but I mean, it could be. 60 is the slowest of any of these speed reductions, so will take us down to just below 60. We're still on downhill 1 in 140, so with the brakes off we will start, you know, gaining speed again. So speed is now going up again. Not rapidly, it's yeah, that's fine. So we're into the 70 zone, 60 zone more or less right on top of us. So that line up there, that is the yeah, the part that carries on to Edinburgh. We are in the 60 zone, very close to the 70 zone. You see the marker there. So we're now in the 70. We have a 105 zone coming up. I'm not going to bother putting any throttle on until we're in the 105 zone. We're on a 1 in 100 downhill section, so we don't need to be applying any throttle yet. So yeah, entering the 105. Okay, we'll go up to knots 3 as we're now in there. Shield Muir at the next station. So, yeah, Shield Muir, not much in the way of anything on the station itself. There's certainly plenty surrounding it. And Motherwell is the next station that is coming up. It could be tight, but I'm pretty sure we can get the entire train on this platform. Coming in very, very slowly. I'm taking the risk of releasing the brakes here. Okay, it looks like we will be fine. That rear one there is obviously the rear driver car, so passengers will not need to be able to open the doors there. But yeah, here we are at Motherwell station. Yeah, the rear car didn't quite get on there, but not far off it. In fact, looking at it, yeah, we probably could have, yeah, we easily could have got the whole train on, but, oh well. Right, looks like doors are all shut. Yeah, we just got the signal from the guard there. So, I think that's the first time I've actually had a guard signal while I'm in this particular train. Away we go. So the final stretch. So just shy of 13 miles to Glasgow Central. Orbison viaducts there, quite impressive. So we are on a 1 in 100 downhill. It's a shame we're only on a 95 mph zone here, and it's slowing. 90 mph coming up in a mile and a half. We'll be down to single figures as far as our distance to Glasgow by the time we reach that. We're still gaining speed. We need to lose some of that. Uddingston station coming up. So we are in the 90 zone. So yeah, Addington Station, very small. Has a nice station building on it though. So another speed reduction coming up in a mile and a half down to 80. Cambuslang station is yeah, coming along again. Just go straight through that. Into the 80 zone. Still gaining speed on this. Yeah, just put the throttle into the off position, which I really didn't want to do. So yeah, here is Cambuslang station. So we have a 75 mph section fast coming up. So we've got all these areas highlighted within Rutherglen. I think there might actually be a Rutherglen station as well. No, maybe not. So a 30 mph limit coming up in a mile and a half. That'll be as we make our approach to Glasgow Central itself. You can see how busy Glasgow Central station is. The sheer amount of signals as we make the approach to it. So we are fine for the 30 mph section. It's quite short before we are going down further, 25 and then 20. We are actually picking up speed here because yeah, we are going downhill. We are going over points. It could be where that 20 mph zone is. No, it was right there. We are going slightly uphill here. So we haven't got too far to go now, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sets of signals to go through in this very short section. Well, actually the 5th one is the one right at the end here. We certainly don't want to be going through that one. So the next one's a double yellow, which is to be expected. Looks like there's no AWS around here. That's taking a bit of a chance. So yeah, showing platform 10 set aside, which is what we want. Yeah, I did it slightly too slowly, or too late. Bring us down to 15. Because we are entering a terminus. And if this doesn't have any AWS, which it certainly looks like, then I don't think it's going to have any TPWS either. But yeah, we'll keep our speed at this, and that way we can't trigger it if it is there. Never seen Glasgow Central station this empty before. Well, apart from when I'm playing this game. So I'm not going to worry about going right up to the buffers. The whole train is on the platform. There we are. That was Preston to Glasgow Central in the Class 43 Intercity 125 HST, and that was a great run. Really good. That was the first time I'd ever done, like, you know, a run from Preston to Glasgow. I mean, obviously I've done it plenty of times, Carlisle to Glasgow, and I've done plenty of Preston to Carlisle runs. But yeah, never combined the two, and yeah, that was great stuff. Relatively straightforward, but there were a couple of places, like, you know, climbing up Shap, and even more so climbing up Beatuk, where, yeah, this thing was really sort of struggling. There was never any danger that it wasn't going to be able to make it, but yeah, it did certainly struggle getting up those gradients. So let's see how we did. One speeding error in, well, from Carlisle to here, and that was just as I was entering the Glasgow Central station, but I had 5 in the first bit, you know, from between Preston and Carlisle, so 6 in all, but 6 speeding errors and a run that went on for 192 miles, as you can see there, I will absolutely take. I mean, it's not great, but it's bloody good by my standards. So there we go. Anyway, that is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.